Let's take a look at this problem number 1. We got Fred, who's investing $3,000 at 4.66% compounded quarterly for 4 years. So we want to know how much interest that $3,000 will make. In this section, we are using this compound interest formula. It goes like this. The amount of money that you make depends on how much you invest. All right, this is called the principal. A is for amount, P is the principal, that's how much you invest, times 1 plus R, the interest rate, over N, that's the number of times you compound per year, raised to the N times T. And T is the number of years that you leave the investment there. So in this problem, what we want to do, it says this. Okay, I'm just going to read through it. It says, Fred invests $3,000. Okay, so that's P at 4.66%. All right, so that's going to be my percent here. I'll change it to a percent, 0.0466. And we're going to compound quarterly. All right, quarterly, that's going to be a 4 and a 4 for 4 years. So T is going to be 4. And we want to know how much interest we will make. Okay, so I want to know how much interest we're going to make out of this. So let's do this. How much interest will the investment yield? I just want to know the interest. So what I want to do is put these numbers in. So I'm going to get A. Let me get it to right here. A is equal to 3,000. You know, I'm looking at your answer. It looks like you came close to this. 3,000 times 1 plus, now, 0.0466, right? I have to change the percent to a decimal. Compounded quarterly, 4, raised to the 4 times quarterly times the number of years. Okay, so it's a calculator problem. So on my calculator, now look, here's what I'm using. I'm using a TI 84. Let's see, I have no idea what you're using here, but let's see if we can work through this with a couple of different calculators. So maybe we could put in this. Put in 3,000, parentheses, if you have parentheses, and then put in 1 plus 0.0466 divide by 4, close the parentheses, and now here's what I have to do. Right above the division key, okay, right above my divide key, I have a key that looks like this, right, a caret key, up arrow. And as soon as I press that, I get a field up here for my exponent, and I want to put in 4 times 4, or how about just putting in 16? All right, so when I put that in, what I get for A is this number right here. Okay, I'm getting 3610 point, now I'm going to round off. I get 81999, I'm going to round off to 82. Now that 3610.82, that's the amount of money we're going to have after, what, after 4 years. But all I want to know is the interest. So the interest is going to be the total amount of money that we have, oops, at 3610.82, minus the amount that we invested. So that's going to be 610.82. All right, so that's what I'm looking for. That's the amount of interest. And number 2, here's what we're asked for, right? What we're asked for is this, simple interest. And what is the annual rate? All right, now this is simple interest, so I have to know that simple interest formula. And we're given that. Here's the simple interest formula. I, interest, equals PRT. So I is the interest, P is the amount that you invest, your principal, R is the interest rate, and T is the number of years. Now what we've got in here is that we are going to put in $500. All right, so I'm going to say $500. Now the interest rate we don't know. So I'm just going to leave that as a times R times T. Now T is the 8 years, right? T is 8. See if I can follow this. That's our 8 years. We're putting in $500. And the interest that we get, all right, the $500 produces this amount of interest. Okay, so that amount of interest is $48.58. So here's what we have so far. $48.58 equals, now, 500 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40. And I've got 2 zeros. All right, so I got 40 and 2 zeros, so I get 4,000 times R. Now a little bit of algebra here. I want to get R by itself. That's what I'm trying to find. What is the annual rate? All right, what is the annual rate? That's R. So we are going to get out of this, that 4,000 is multiplying by R, so I'm going to divide. So R is going to be 4858 divided by 4,000. And on my calculator, I'm going to type in this. 4,000 divide, no, I've got that exactly backwards. I'm going to type in 4858 divided by 4,000. Okay, and when I did that, I came up with this. R being 0.0121, what did I get? I think 4 ... Okay, 48 or something. But it wants the interest rate, so I need to make this a percent. So how about here? Here's our interest rate, 1.21, and if I round it up, right, they are asking us to, all right, let's come up here. Here's what they're asking us. State your answer as a percent rounded to the nearest thousand. So that means tenths, hundredths, thousands. So I got to go out to the thousands. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Okay, tenths, hundredths. I don't know if I wrote my number right now. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm really down here, right? I'm really here. Here's where I'm at. I'm at R equals, okay, 1.2148 ... tenths, hundredths, thousandths. I'll round that up, so I'll get 1.215. So we're going to enter 1.215, and it says not to put the percent sign. So that's how I'm going to do that. So I need to know the simple interest formula, which is I equals PRT. So now we're here at question 3. So it says Jody, she borrows $700 from a credit union and agrees to repay the credit union, I guess, that amount, so she can repay the $700 plus 2.22 simple interest. Okay, now, this is a simple interest formula. As soon as I see that simple interest, I'm thinking I equals PRT. So the question is, right here, how much will she return to the credit union at the end of 5 years? Well, I'm thinking this. She's going to return that 700. Let me get rid of that color. She's going to get rid of that she's going to return the 700 plus the amount of interest. But the amount of interest, we can get that. That's going to be 700, right? I equals P times R. Now, what is R? 2.22%. That's 0.0222 as a decimal times 5 years. Okay? This is PRT. All right, so I'm just going to put this on my calculator just like I just wrote it right there. And when I did that on my calculator, I came up with, well, if I do it in 2 pieces, I'll get 77.7. If I add them together, I get 777.7. And it is asking us to round off to the nearest cent. All right, now to the nearest cent, yeah, that would be it. That's the nearest cent, right? $777.70. That's where I'm getting that. So as you can see, this section is really based on formulas, right? We've got that compound interest formula, and we've got now this simple interest formula. So here in number 4, it says, find the total future value. That just means what amount, A, are we going to have in the future, 7 years from now? All right, so here's what I'm going to use. It says, as soon as it says this over here, compounded. Okay, compounded. I'm going to use the compound interest formula, which I know to be this. A equals P times 1 plus R over N to the N times T. All right, so those are the formulas that are in this section. This one and this one up here. I'll do it at the very top right. I equals PRT. But this is for simple interest, and this says compound interest, so we're not going to be using this one up at the top right. We're going to be using this one here. All right, so it says, find the total future value. That means find A. So what I'm trying to do is I want to find A when P, the amount we invest, is $500. R, the interest rate, is 0.0336, right? 3.36, make it a decimal. So I move that decimal point over 2 places. And then T, this goes for 7 years. And we're compounding monthly. That means N is 12, right? Compounding monthly. N is the number of times each year that you compound. So this is going to be A is equal to 500 times 1 plus 0.0336 over 12 raised to the 12 times 7, right? This is the N, that's the R, here's the N, and there's the T. Right, so on my calculator, I'll have to put it in like this maybe. 500 parentheses 1 plus 0.0336 divided by 12, close, and then I'll hit my arrow key, meaning I'm going to raise this to a power. Now, 7 times 12, depending on your calculator, you might just do that. 7 times 12 turns out to be 84. So I'm going to raise this to the 84. Okay, so when I did that one, here's what I got. I got this number here. I got 632.37. Okay, so let's see. I'm just checking over my work. It looks like it's okay. All right, so if we borrow $500 at 3.36% interest compounded monthly, 7 years later, we will have $632.37. And finally, we get to this number 5. This says find the simple interest. Right now, as soon as I see this, I'm thinking I equals PRT. That's the simple interest. All right, so find the interest. Find I when P is 1,200. So here's what I'm thinking. I need to find I when P is 1,200. T, that's the number of years, is 3, and the interest rate is 0.0762. Okay, so all I need to do here is just put in I is equal to 1,200 times R, 0.0762 times T, which is 3. And when I did that, I got the interest to be 274.32. Right, so I'm going to enter 274.32. And it says to enter without the dollar sign, right? Okay, so let's see. I think when you did this one, you got, I'm not sure how you got the 1474. Anyway, this is how I would do it. So this whole section deals with these two formulas, all right? The whole section deals with this compound interest formula, which is P times 1 plus R over N to the NT, and this is for compound interest. And for simple interest, I equals PRT. That's the formula for simple interest.